The sun cast a warm glow over the sprawling international airport, its glass facades reflecting the hustle and bustle of travelers from all corners of the globe. Before we get into the story, comment below where in the world you are watching from today, and if you like this story, don't forget to subscribe. Among the sea of passengers, Maya Johnson walked with purpose. Clad in a tailored navy blue suit, her presence was both commanding and graceful. Her dark skin contrasted elegantly with her attire, and her confident stride hinted at years of professional success. Maya's family awaited her at the arrival's gate. Her mother, a petite woman with silver hair neatly pinned back, smiled warmly as Maya approached. "Welcome back, dear," she greeted, enveloping Maya in a tight embrace. Her father, taller and broader, patted Maya's back reassuringly. "Hope your meeting goes well," he said, eyes twinkling with pride. As Maya bid farewell to her family, she glanced toward the departure board, mentally reviewing her itinerary. Today was crucial. She was set to fly first class on one of the airline's flagship flights, a testament to her hard work and dedication. Nearby, Evelyn Clark, a senior flight attendant with impeccable poise, observed the crowd. Her uniform was pristine, and her hair was perfectly coiffed. Evelyn's sharp eyes missed nothing, and today, her attention was fixed on Maya. There was a subtle tension in her gaze, a flicker of something unspoken as she noted Maya's presence among the elite passengers. Maya approached the first-class check-in counter with ease, her confidence unwavering. The attendant greeted her with a courteous smile, quickly processing her check-in without hesitation. Maya's boarding pass gleamed with her name in bold letters, affirming her status. As she collected her luggage, Evelyn watched from across the hall. There was a hint of skepticism in her eyes, a silent questioning of Maya's place in the exclusive first-class section. Maya, unaware of Evelyn's scrutiny, offered a polite nod before moving toward security. Behind her, whispers began to ripple through the crowd. Some passengers noticed Evelyn's lingering gaze, exchanging puzzled looks. Maya, sensing a shift in the atmosphere, maintained her composure, her focus unwavering as she proceeded to the next checkpoint. The security checkpoint was a flurry of activity, but Maya navigated it with practiced ease. She placed her belongings on the conveyor belt, removing her shoes and belt as required. Her calm demeanor contrasted sharply with another passenger nearby who fumbled nervously with their carry-on, causing a minor delay. Evelyn observed Maya from the end of the aisle, a shadow of envy crossing her features. There was something about Maya's assuredness that seemed to unsettle her, though she couldn't quite place why. Maya's phone rang, a work call. She excused herself, stepping aside to take the call in a quieter area. Her voice was steady, discussing an upcoming project with a sense of authority that spoke volumes of her professional stature. As Maya concluded her call, Evelyn's eyes followed her every move. There was an unspoken tension building, a prelude to the conflict that was yet to unfold. Maya entered the exclusive first-class lounge, greeted by the soft hum of conversation and the subtle clinking of fine china. The room was tastefully decorated, exuding an air of luxury and tranquility. She was escorted to her seat by a flight attendant, but Evelyn was there, standing nearby with a formal yet distant demeanor. "Miss Johnson, welcome aboard," Evelyn said, her tone polite but cold. Maya offered a warm smile, setting her carry-on in the overhead compartment and beginning to unpack her laptop and work materials. Her dedication was evident as she prepared for the long flight ahead. Other first-class passengers cast discreet glances her way, some accompanied by barely concealed biases. Maya noticed the hushed whispers and exchanged looks, but chose to focus on her work, her professionalism shining through despite the underlying tension. Back in the flight deck, Evelyn briefed the crew, her instructions precise and clear. "We have Miss Johnson in first class today. Ensure that all services meet the highest standards," she instructed, her eyes briefly meeting Maya's across the aisle. The cabin crew exchanged subtle nods, their expressions varying from indifferent to apprehensive. Maya interacted briefly with a fellow first-class passenger, a middle-aged man named Mr. Thompson, who nodded in acknowledgement of her professionalism. Their brief conversation hinted at mutual respect and camaraderie among the elite passengers. Evelyn watched these interactions closely, her scrutiny evident. There was an unspoken tension as she made mental notes, the seeds of conflict taking root in her mind. As the engines roared to life, the plane began its ascent into the sky. Maya continued her work, typing away on her laptop, oblivious to the brewing storm. The first-class cabin remained a sanctuary of calm, with passengers settling in for the long journey. Evelyn, however, maintained a vigilant eye on Maya. A minor incident, a slight adjustment of Maya's seat that caused a brief stir, was enough to pique Evelyn's attention. She made a silent note, her irritation barely masked as she returned to her duties. Maya remained focused, her dedication unwavering despite the subtle undercurrents of tension surrounding her. Midway through the flight, Evelyn approached Maya with a meal tray. Her movements were precise, almost mechanical, and there was a noticeable lack of warmth in her demeanor. "Here is your lunch, Miss Johnson," she said curtly, placing the tray in front of Maya. Maya smiled politely, accepting the meal. "Thank you, Evelyn. I appreciate it," she responded graciously. She inquired about the menu, her curiosity genuine. Evelyn's responses were brief and somewhat dismissive, lacking the usual hospitality expected in first class. The exchange left Maya momentarily unsettled, sensing a coldness that she couldn't quite place. Yet, she chose to remain composed, focusing on her work and the task at hand. A few hours into the flight, a minor misunderstanding ignited the simmering tensions. Maya requested an additional amenity, a pillow adjustment, that was within the norms of first-class service. Evelyn, however, interpreted the request as an infringement of protocol. "Ms. Johnson, I need to discuss your stay in first class," Evelyn announced abruptly, her voice laced with authority and a hint of disdain. Maya looked up, surprised by the sudden confrontation. "Is there a problem, Evelyn?" Maya asked calmly, maintaining her composure despite the rising tension. Evelyn took a deep breath, her eyes narrowing. "According to company policy, we reserve first-class seats for passengers who meet specific criteria. Unfortunately, it seems there's been a misunderstanding regarding your eligibility." Maya's heart raced, but her voice remained steady. "I've booked and paid for this seat in advance. There must be some mistake." Evelyn's expression hardened. "I'm afraid we have no choice but to relocate you to economy. Please gather your belongings." Maya stood, her dignity intact despite the unjust treatment. "This is unacceptable. I demand to speak with the supervisor." But Evelyn was resolute. "I'm sorry, Ms. Johnson, but this is final. Please follow me." As Evelyn escorted Maya out of the first-class section, the whispers among passengers grew louder. Maya glanced back, meeting the sympathetic eyes of some and the indifferent stares of others. The once calm and professional journey had taken a disheartening turn, setting the stage for the challenges that lay ahead. As the plane leveled off into cruising altitude, the cabin crew began their routine service. Maya, now seated in the economy section, felt a palpable shift in her environment. The plush seats of first class had given way to the narrower confines of economy, and the ambient noise seemed louder, the conversations around her more intrusive. Evelyn stood nearby, her expression stern as she observed Maya settling into her new seat. The transition was swift, leaving little room for explanation. Maya took a deep breath, her professional demeanor masking the initial pang of frustration. She carefully arranged her belongings, her laptop now sandwiched between two neighboring seats. Passengers around her shifted uncomfortably, their glances a mix of curiosity and judgment. Some whispered behind cupped hands, while others offered fleeting sympathetic looks. Maya remained composed, determined not to let the unjust treatment derail her focus. However, the subtle weight of disapproval hung heavy in the air, making the space feel smaller than ever. Maya attempted to dive back into her work, her fingers dancing across the keyboard with practiced ease. The cramped space of economy class presented new challenges, less legroom, shared armrests, and the constant buzz of nearby conversations. Despite these obstacles, Maya pushed forward, her commitment to her work unwavering. Across the aisle, a young mother struggled to soothe her restless child, adding to the cacophony. Maya glanced around, noting the stark differences between her current seat and the comfort she had left behind. She felt a mixture of indignation and determination, her mind already racing with thoughts of how to address the situation once the flight concluded. A passenger in the adjacent row, a middle-aged woman with a stern demeanor, shot Maya a disapproving glance. Maya met her gaze briefly, offering a polite nod before returning to her screen. The interaction, though fleeting, served as a reminder of the undercurrents of bias that now permeated her journey. Midway through the flight, as the beverage cart rolled down the aisle, Maya saw Evelyn approaching. The flight attendant's expression was one of barely concealed irritation, her eyes fixed intently on Maya. The tension between them was palpable, a silent battle of wills unfolding in the confined space. "Ms. Johnson," Evelyn began. Her tone clipped. "I need to discuss your behavior since being moved to economy." Maya looked up, maintaining her composure. "I'm not sure I understand. Is there an issue?" Evelyn sighed, clearly frustrated. "There have been several complaints from passengers regarding your conduct. Excessive use of electronic devices, frequent movement. It's disrupting the service flow." Maya raised an eyebrow, her voice steady. "I've been working throughout the flight, trying to make productive use of my time. If that's an issue, I'm sorry." Evelyn's lips pressed into a thin line. "This isn't the first time we've had concerns about you. Perhaps it's best if you keep to yourself for the remainder of the flight." With that, Evelyn turned and walked away, leaving Maya to process the interaction. The unjust accusation stung, but Maya's resolve only grew stronger. She knew she needed to document these incidents, not just for herself, but for anyone who might face similar discrimination. As the flight progressed, Maya began to observe the dynamics among her fellow economy passengers. A few seemed indifferent, lost in their own worlds, while others watched her with a mix of curiosity and judgment. However, amidst the sea of faces, a few stood out as potential allies. Seated 2 rows ahead was Tom, a friendly-looking man in his late 30s. During a brief exchange over a shared snack, he offered her a warm smile. "Tough flight?" he asked, genuinely concerned. Maya appreciated the gesture. "You could say that. It's been a bit challenging," she replied. Tom nodded sympathetically. "If you need anything, let me know." Sometimes it's nice to have someone to talk to. Their conversation, though brief, provided a sense of camaraderie. Maya felt a flicker of hope, realizing that not everyone shared the biases she was encountering. This newfound support buoyed her spirits, reinforcing her determination to navigate the remainder of the flight with grace and resilience. The hours continued to tick by, and Maya found herself facing a series of subtle challenges. A flight attendant offered her a blanket with a dismissive gesture, while another passenger repeatedly adjusted his seat in a way that seemed designed to encroach on her personal space. Each interaction chipped away at her patience, but Maya remained steadfast, documenting each incident discreetly on her phone. During one particularly tense moment, a man across the aisle loudly complained about the noise level, casting a sidelong glance at Maya as if blaming her for the disturbance. Maya chose to ignore the outburst, focusing instead on her work and the support she had found among select passengers. Despite the mounting frustrations, Maya's professionalism never wavered. She continued to engage politely with those who showed kindness, further solidifying the bonds of support that were beginning to form around her. Behind the scenes, the flight crew grappled with the unfolding situation. In the cramped galley, Evelyn voiced her frustrations to a group of junior flight attendants. "This is becoming a real problem. We need to ensure that Ms. Johnson doesn't disrupt the service any further." One of the younger attendants, Liam, hesitated before speaking up. "Maybe we're being a bit harsh. She's clearly upset about being moved. Maybe there's a way to make her more comfortable without escalating things." Evelyn shot him a disapproving look. "We have protocols for a reason. If she continues to cause issues, we have to take action." Liam exchanged a glance with another crew member, doubt flickering in his eyes. The conversation hinted at underlying tensions within the crew, revealing that not everyone agreed with the treatment Maya was receiving. Liam's conflicted expression suggested that he might become an unexpected ally in Maya's struggle. As the flight approached its final hours, Maya found a moment of solitude amidst the chaos. She leaned back in her seat, allowing herself a brief respite from the constant scrutiny. Her mind drifted to memories of past experiences with discrimination, each one shaping her into the resilient woman she had become. Flashbacks revealed Maya's journey, her relentless pursuit of a successful career despite facing systemic barriers, the strength she drew from her family, and the unwavering determination that defined her character. These memories served as a wellspring of strength, fueling her resolve to stand up against the injustice she was currently facing. In the midst of her reflection, Liam approached her quietly. "Hey, Maya, I just wanted to say, I'm sorry you're going through this. If you need anything, let me know." Maya offered a grateful smile. "Thank you, Liam. I appreciate your support." Their brief interaction provided a much-needed boost, reminding Maya that she wasn't alone in her fight. The flight's final hours saw the tension between Maya and Evelyn reach a boiling point. A minor request for an extra glass of water from Maya was met with an unnecessarily stern reprimand from Evelyn. "Miss Johnson, please refrain from making excessive requests. We're trying to manage the service efficiently," Maya responded calmly. "I'm merely requesting what I'm entitled to. Is there a problem?" Evelyn's patience wore thin. "Your continued demands are becoming disruptive. Please be mindful of the other passengers." Before Maya could reply, Tom interjected from the row behind her. "Evelyn, maybe cutting her some slack would be nice. She's clearly stressed." Evelyn turned her glare towards Tom. "We're trying to maintain order. Please, everyone, let's keep things running smoothly." The confrontation drew the attention of several passengers, some of whom began to murmur in support of Maya. Sensing the shifting dynamics, Evelyn realized that maintaining control was becoming increasingly difficult. The once silent undercurrents of bias were now surfacing, threatening to undermine the authority she had worked hard to establish. Maya, bolstered by the support of fellow passengers and the quiet encouragement from allies like Tom and Liam, felt her frustration transform into determination. She knew that addressing the injustice she faced was not just about her own experience, but about standing up against a larger, systemic issue. The sun began its descent, casting a golden hue through the airplane windows as the flight continued toward its destination. Inside the economy cabin, the atmosphere had grown increasingly charged. Maya navigated her seat with a quiet determination, her eyes occasionally meeting Evelyn's stern gaze from across the aisle. Evelyn had intensified her surveillance, noting every minor movement Maya made. A passenger's brief cough prompted Evelyn to approach Maya with a disapproving look. "Ms. Johnson, could you please minimize your movements? Some passengers find it distracting." Maya nodded politely, her frustration simmering beneath her calm exterior. "Of course, Evelyn. I'm just trying to finish some work before landing." As Evelyn walked away, Maya took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the scrutiny pressing down on her. The whispers among passengers had grown louder, and she could sense the shifting dynamics within the cabin. Despite the mounting tensions, Maya remained resolute, her focus unwavering as she continued her work. Later that evening, as the cabin lights dimmed for the night, Maya found herself alone in the quiet aisle. Evelyn approached, her expression a mix of irritation and hidden vulnerability. The flight attendant paused a few feet away, gathering her thoughts before speaking. "Ms. Johnson," Evelyn began, her voice unsteady, "I need to be honest with you. This situation has been difficult for me." Maya looked up, sensing the underlying tension. "I understand that you're just doing your job, Evelyn, but I can't help but feel that there's more to this." Evelyn sighed, running a hand through her hair. "It's not just about the policies. There are things going on behind the scenes, things I'm not supposed to talk about. I don't want this to escalate any further." Maya leaned forward, her eyes softening. "I'm not looking to escalate anything. I just want to understand why I'm being treated this way. Maybe there's a misunderstanding we can resolve." Evelyn hesitated, glancing around to ensure no one was listening. "I wish it were that simple. Sometimes, protocols are influenced by factors beyond our control. Just try to make your stay in economy as pleasant as possible." With that, Evelyn turned and walked away, leaving Maya with a lingering sense of unease. The flight attendant's cryptic words hinted at deeper issues within the airline, further fueling Maya's determination to seek justice. As the hours passed, Maya found a moment of solitude in her seat, allowing herself to reflect on the unfolding events. The cabin was dimly lit, the hum of the engines providing a constant backdrop to her thoughts. She leaned back, closing her eyes briefly, memories flooding her mind. She recalled past experiences where her competence and professionalism were questioned simply because of her skin color. From boardroom meetings where her ideas were dismissed to social settings where she felt isolated, Maya had faced systemic barriers throughout her life. Each memory strengthened her resolve, reminding her of the importance of standing up against injustice. Opening her eyes, Maya pulled out her notebook, jotting down notes and strategies for addressing the current situation. She was determined to document every incident, ensuring that her voice would be heard long after the flight landed. Her thoughts were interrupted by a gentle tap on her shoulder. Maya turned to see Tom, the friendly passenger from earlier, standing beside her with a concerned expression. "Hey, Maya. I just wanted to check in and see how you're holding up." Maya offered a grateful smile. "Thanks, Tom. It's been a challenging flight, but I'm managing." Tom glanced down the aisle, his eyes meeting Evelyn's for a brief moment before returning to Maya. "You know, some of the other passengers are starting to get on your side. It might help to have more support." Maya considered his words, appreciating the solidarity. "I've noticed a few people are supportive. It definitely helps knowing I'm not alone in this." Just then, a passenger nearby began loudly complaining about the noise level. Casting a pointed glance at Maya, Evelyn swiftly approached, her voice stern. "Please keep the noise down. We're trying to maintain a peaceful environment." Tom intervened gently. "Evelyn, maybe we could handle this calmly. We all want a comfortable flight." Evelyn shot him a sharp look. "I appreciate your input, Tom, but I need to maintain order." The confrontation drew the attention of several passengers, some nodding in agreement with Tom, while others remained silent. The cabin's tension was palpable, and Maya felt the stakes of her situation heightening. Determined to navigate this turbulent environment, she turned her focus back to her notes, preparing for the challenges that lay ahead. In the cramped confines of the flight attendant break room, the crew gathered for their brief respite. Evelyn stood at the center, her posture rigid as she addressed her colleagues. "We need to ensure that Ms. Johnson doesn't cause any more disruptions. Let's be extra vigilant." Liam, the young flight attendant who had previously offered Maya support, exchanged uneasy glances with a fellow crew member. "Maybe we're being a bit too strict. She's just a passenger who's stressed about the flight." Evelyn's eyes narrowed. "This isn't just about stress. We need to follow company protocols to the letter. If she continues to be a problem, we'll have to involve higher authorities." Liam bit his lip, clearly conflicted. "I understand, but perhaps there's a way to make her more comfortable without escalating things." Evelyn shot him a disapproving glare. "We're trying our best. Let's keep it professional and avoid any unnecessary confrontations." As the crew dispersed, Liam lingered for a moment, his conscience tugging at him. He glanced back towards the economy cabin, where Maya sat diligently working, a stark contrast to the chaos unfolding around her. Deep down, Liam knew that the situation was more complex than it appeared, and he couldn't shake the feeling that Maya deserved better treatment. Back in her seat, Maya felt the weight of the day pressing down on her. She closed her eyes, allowing herself a brief moment to gather her thoughts. The support from Tom and the silent encouragement from Liam provided a glimmer of hope amidst the adversity. Her mind wandered to her family, the people who had always stood by her side, encouraging her to pursue her dreams despite the obstacles. Their unwavering support had been her anchor, and she drew strength from their belief in her. Determined to turn her frustration into action, Maya began drafting a formal complaint on her laptop, meticulously documenting each incident and interaction. She knew that taking a stand was not just for her own sake, but for anyone who might face similar injustices in the future. As she typed, Liam approached quietly, his demeanor more relaxed but still cautious. "If you need any help, let me know. I can assist with anything you might need." Maya looked up, meeting his sincere gaze. "Thank you, Liam. Your support means a lot." Their brief conversation rekindled Maya's determination, reinforcing her belief that change was possible, even in the face of adversity. As the flight neared its final hours, Maya noticed a shift in the cabin's atmosphere. More passengers began to show subtle signs of support, nodding in agreement when she voiced her concerns, offering encouraging smiles, and even joining her in documenting the incidents. A group of business travelers, previously indifferent, now engaged in conversation with Maya, sharing their own experiences and offering advice on handling such situations. The camaraderie among the passengers created a unified front, diminishing the isolation Maya had initially felt. Tom, seeing the growing support, approached Maya with a stack of anonymous testimonials from other passengers who had witnessed the unfair treatment. These are some accounts from people who saw what happened. They wanted to be known. Maya accepted the documents, her heart swelling with gratitude. "This is incredible, Tom. Thank you." With the collective voices of the passengers backing her, Maya felt a renewed sense of purpose. The solidarity within the cabin transformed the flight from a battleground into a space of resilience and unity, setting the stage for a powerful culmination of their shared experiences. In the final stretch of the flight, Evelyn's patience had worn thin. Maya's unwavering composure and the mounting support from fellow passengers were pushing her authority to its limits. A minor request from Maya for an additional blanket was met with an unnecessarily harsh reprimand. "Miss Johnson, please refrain from making excessive requests. We're trying to manage the service efficiently," Evelyn snapped, her frustration evident. Maya responded calmly, "I'm merely requesting what I'm entitled to. Is there a problem?" Before Evelyn could reply, Tom stepped forward from the row behind Maya. "Evelyn, maybe cutting her some slack would be nice. She's clearly stressed." Evelyn turned her glare towards Tom, her authority wavering under the collective attention of the cabin. "We're trying to maintain order. Please, everyone, let's keep things running smoothly." The confrontation drew the attention of nearly every passenger on board. Murmurs of agreement and support from Maya rippled through the cabin, making it clear that the collective sentiment was against Evelyn's treatment of her. Maya felt a surge of empowerment, buoyed by the solidarity surrounding her. She stood tall, her voice strong and clear. "We all deserve to be treated with respect and dignity. This flight should be about providing a comfortable journey for everyone, not singling someone out unfairly." The room fell silent, the passengers united in their support. Evelyn, realizing that her authority was being undermined, took a deep breath and nodded reluctantly. "I apologize for the inconvenience, Ms. Johnson. We'll ensure you're comfortable for the remainder of the flight." With that, Evelyn stepped back, her role as the antagonist momentarily subdued by the power of collective support. Maya sat down, a sense of relief washing over her as the cabin returned to a more harmonious state. The aircraft began its descent, the city lights of the destination shimmering below like a sea of stars. Inside the economy cabin, a palpable sense of anticipation filled the air as passengers prepared for landing. Maya felt a mixture of relief and apprehension, knowing that her ordeal was nearing its end, but also contemplating the steps she would need to take once off the plane. As the seatbelt signs illuminated, passengers began to stow their belongings and settle into their final moments on the flight. Evelyn moved through the cabin with a forced semblance of professionalism, her earlier antagonism tempered by the collective support Maya had garnered. However, her eyes still occasionally darted toward Maya, a silent reminder of the unresolved tensions. The plane touched down smoothly, and the cabin crew initiated the disembarking process. Maya gathered her belongings methodically, her movements deliberate and composed. Tom offered her a reassuring smile from his seat, a silent gesture of solidarity. As Maya approached the exit row, Evelyn intercepted her once more. "Miss Johnson, please ensure that you have all your personal items," she instructed, her tone now devoid of its earlier hostility. Maya met Evelyn's gaze steadily. "Thank you, Evelyn. I believe I have everything." Before Evelyn could respond, a sudden announcement crackled over the intercom. "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Destination City. Please remain seated until the aircraft has come to a complete stop and the seatbelt sign has been turned off." After the plane had fully stopped and the seatbelt sign was deactivated, Maya made her way toward the exit, her mind racing with thoughts of how to address the injustices she faced. As she reached the front of the cabin, she noticed Evelyn speaking with an airline supervisor, her expression one of forced politeness. Determined to seek resolution, Maya approached the pair. "Excuse me, Evelyn. I'd like to discuss the events that transpired during the flight," she stated firmly, her voice steady despite the lingering tension. Evelyn glanced at Maya, then at the supervisor, who nodded encouragingly. "Of course, Miss Johnson. Let's step into the office so we can have a private conversation," the supervisor suggested, leading Maya and Evelyn toward the airline's designated office area within the airport. The airline office was a sleek, modern space adorned with company logos and promotional materials. Maya took a seat across from the supervisor, a middle-aged woman named Karen Mitchell, whose demeanor was professional yet empathetic. Evelyn stood nearby, awaiting her turn to speak. Maya began, "I want to address the unjust treatment I received during my flight. Being forcibly removed from first class based on what I believe were unfounded criteria was not only humiliating but also discriminatory." Karen nodded, taking notes. "I'm truly sorry for the experience you had, Ms. Johnson. We take such matters very seriously. Could you please provide more details about the incident?" Maya recounted the events meticulously, highlighting Evelyn's biased actions and the lack of valid reasoning behind her removal from first class. She presented the documentation and testimonials she had gathered during the flight, including statements from supportive passengers and Liam's discreet assistants. Evelyn interjected, attempting to defend her actions. "I was following company protocols. Ms. Johnson's behavior was disruptive, and I had to maintain order in the cabin." Karen listened attentively, her expression shifting as Maya continued to articulate her grievances. "While I understand the need to maintain order, the way I was treated felt racially motivated. It's important for the airline to ensure that all passengers are treated with equal respect and fairness." Karen leaned forward, her eyes meeting Maya's with genuine concern. "Ms. Johnson, your feedback is invaluable. I will personally investigate this matter to understand what went wrong and ensure that such incidents do not recur." As the meeting progressed, Karen revealed that there had been previous complaints about Evelyn's conduct, though they had not been adequately addressed. Maya listened, a mixture of validation and frustration washing over her. "It seems there are deeper issues within the crew management that need to be addressed," she observed. Karen agreed. "We are committed to improving our training programs and addressing any instances of discrimination or bias. Your experience will help us make the necessary changes." As Maya prepared to leave the office, Liam approached her quietly. "Miss Johnson, I wanted to apologize for not speaking up sooner. If there's anything else I can do to support you, please let me know." Maya smiled appreciatively. "Thank you, Liam. Your support made a significant difference." Before departing, Maya encountered Tom once more, who had accompanied her to the office. "I spoke with some of the other passengers, and they're willing to provide additional statements if needed," he offered. Maya nodded, feeling the strength of her newfound community. "That would be incredibly helpful. Thank you, Tom." Outside the airline office, the bustling airport seemed to fade into the background as Maya took a moment to reflect on her journey. The initial humiliation and frustration had transformed into a sense of purpose and empowerment. She realized that her experience, though painful, had ignited a passion for advocating against systemic racism and discrimination. Drawing strength from her family's unwavering support and the allies she had found in unexpected places, Maya felt ready to take the next steps in her fight for justice. As Maya headed toward the baggage claim, her phone buzzed with a message from her sister. "Proud of you today. Stay strong." She glanced around, noticing the diversity of the airport and the myriad stories unfolding within its walls. Maya understood that her fight was part of a larger narrative, one that sought to create a more equitable and just world for everyone. With a determined stride, she embraced her role as an advocate, ready to transform her personal ordeal into a catalyst for meaningful change. Back at her home, Maya sat at her neatly organized desk, the events of the flight still fresh in her mind. She opened her laptop, the screen reflecting her determined expression. Carefully, She began drafting a comprehensive complaint to the airline, detailing every incident, interaction, and the discriminatory treatment she endured. She attached the testimonials from fellow passengers and the documentation she had gathered during the flight. Maya's phone buzzed with messages of support from her family and friends, reinforcing her resolve. "You're doing the right thing," her sister texted. Maya took a deep breath, hit send, and leaned back, feeling a mix of anxiety and empowerment. A few days after her flight, Maya received an email from Karen Mitchell, the airline supervisor. The subject line read, "Response to your recent complaint." She opened it with a mix of hope and apprehension. "Dear Ms. Johnson, thank you for bringing this matter to our attention. We take all complaints seriously and are committed to ensuring a fair and respectful experience for all our passengers. We have initiated a thorough investigation into your claims and will keep you informed of our progress. Sincerely, Karen Mitchell, Airline Customer Relations." Maya felt a surge of hope. The acknowledgement from the airline was a positive step, but she knew there was more to be done. Maya decided to share her story on social media, detailing her experience and the airline's response. Within hours, her post went viral, garnering support from thousands of people who had faced similar injustices. Journalists reached out, eager to cover her story. One morning, Maya received a call from a local news station. "Miss Johnson, we'd like to feature your story on our evening news. Would you be available for an interview?" Maya agreed, recognizing the power of media in amplifying her message and bringing attention to systemic issues within the airline industry. In the studio, Maya sat across from the anchor, her demeanor calm yet passionate. "Thank you for having me," she began. She recounted her experience with clarity and emotion, emphasizing the importance of addressing racial discrimination in all forms. The interview aired to millions, sparking widespread discussions about passenger rights, racial bias, and the responsibilities of airlines to ensure equitable treatment for all customers. Maya felt a sense of purpose, knowing her voice was making a difference. Encouraged by the public support, Maya sought legal advice. She met with attorney Samuel Lee, a seasoned civil rights lawyer known for handling cases of discrimination. "Your case has significant merit," Samuel assured her after reviewing the details. "We can pursue both a formal complaint with the airline and consider taking legal action for discrimination and emotional distress." Maya felt a weight lift off her shoulders. With Samuel's guidance, she began preparing for the legal battle ahead. Ready to hold the airline accountable, Maya organized a virtual town hall meeting, inviting others who had experienced similar discrimination to share their stories. The turnout was overwhelming, with participants from diverse backgrounds united by their shared experiences. "We need to create a united front against systemic racism," Maya addressed the group. "By sharing our stories and standing together, we can push for meaningful change within the airline industry and beyond." The meeting fostered a strong sense of community and collective strength, empowering participants to take action together. As the legal proceedings began, Evelyn Clark was also called to testify. Maya approached her with a mixture of anger and a desire for closure. "Evelyn, why did you treat me that way?" Maya demanded, her voice steady despite the turmoil inside. Evelyn looked down, her composure faltering. I followed the protocols I was given. It wasn't personal." Maya shook her head. "It felt personal. It felt like I was being singled out because of who I am. No one should have to go through what I did." The confrontation was a pivotal moment, highlighting the personal impact of Evelyn's actions and the broader implications of systemic bias within the airline. After months of legal battles and advocacy, the airline reached a settlement with Maya and the other affected passengers. More importantly, the airline announced comprehensive changes to its training programs, focusing on diversity, equity, and inclusion. At a press conference, Karen Mitchell addressed the public. "We deeply regret the experiences of our passengers and are committed to ensuring such incidents do not occur in the future. We are implementing extensive training and revising our policies to promote fairness and respect for all." Maya stood with her family and allies, feeling a profound sense of accomplishment. Her journey had not only brought justice to herself, but had also ignited a movement towards systemic change, ensuring that no one else would face the same discrimination she had endured. Back at her home office, Maya sat surrounded by notes, legal documents, and messages of support flooding her inbox. The momentum from her viral social media post had not waned. Instead, it had grown exponentially. People from all over the country shared their own stories of discrimination, inspired by Maya's courage. Determined to harness this wave of support, Maya decided to organize a national conference on passenger rights and anti-discrimination within the airline industry. She reached out to activists, legal experts, and affected individuals, inviting them to join her cause. Her phone buzzed incessantly with confirmations and expressions of solidarity, each message reinforcing her resolve to drive meaningful change. Maya met with attorney Samuel Lee at a bustling cafe, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee enveloping them. Samuel, seasoned and compassionate, had been instrumental in guiding her legal battle. "Your idea for a national conference is brilliant," Samuel said, stirring his coffee thoughtfully. "It's the perfect platform to highlight these issues and push for industry-wide reforms." Maya nodded, her eyes shining with determination. "We need to create a space where people can share their experiences and collaborate on solutions. It's time for the airline industry to take responsibility and implement lasting changes." They discussed logistics, potential speakers, and strategies to maximize the event's impact. As they brainstormed, Maya felt a sense of optimism. She was no longer fighting alone. A community was rallying behind her. In the weeks leading up to the conference, Maya utilized every available platform to promote the event. Social media campaigns, press releases, and collaborations with influential figures amplified her message. She received heartfelt messages from individuals who had faced similar injustices, grateful for the opportunity to join forces. One afternoon, Maya hosted a virtual town hall meeting. Participants from diverse backgrounds logged in, sharing their stories and expressing their eagerness to support the cause. Maya listened intently, offering words of encouragement and outlining the conference's goals. "We're stronger together," Maya affirmed. "By uniting our voices, we can drive the changes we desperately need in the airline industry and beyond." As the conference date approached, Maya encountered unforeseen challenges. The airline industry, feeling threatened by the growing movement, launched a smear campaign aimed at discrediting her. False allegations and negative press attempted to tarnish her reputation. Undeterred, Maya leaned on her support network. She addressed the accusations head-on during interviews, providing evidence of her legitimate claims and highlighting the broader issues at stake. Her transparency and unwavering integrity won over even some of her skeptics, further solidifying public support. The day of the conference arrived, held in a large convention center adorned with banners promoting diversity and inclusion. Attendees from all walks of life filled the halls, their faces reflecting a shared commitment to justice and change. Maya took the stage, her presence commanding yet approachable. "Welcome, everyone," she began, her voice resonating with passion. "Today, we stand together to challenge systemic racism and advocate for equitable treatment in the airline industry. Your stories, your voices, and your support are the catalyst for the change we seek." The audience erupted in applause, the air thick with anticipation and solidarity. Throughout the day, speakers took the stage to share their personal experiences with discrimination in air travel. From business travelers to tourists, each narrative underscored the pervasive nature of the issue. Panel discussions delved into the complexities of systemic bias, offering insights and strategies for combating it. Maya shared her own story, detailing the emotional and professional toll of her ordeal. Her honesty and vulnerability moved many, fostering a deep sense of empathy and urgency among the attendees. "We cannot remain silent," Maya urged. "We must demand accountability and push for policies that ensure fairness and respect for every passenger, regardless of their race or background." In breakout sessions, attendees collaborated to develop actionable solutions. Ideas ranged from enhanced training programs for flight staff to the implementation of clear anti-discrimination policies. Maya facilitated discussions, ensuring that every voice was heard and that the proposed measures were both practical and impactful. One group proposed the creation of an independent oversight committee within airlines to monitor and address discrimination complaints. Another suggested leveraging technology to streamline the reporting process, making it easier for passengers to voice their concerns without fear of retaliation. As the sessions concluded, Maya felt a surge of hope. Tangible steps were being taken to dismantle the barriers that had long oppressed marginalized passengers. The conference culminated in a unified declaration, signed by representatives from various organizations and committed individuals. The document outlined a comprehensive framework for combating discrimination in the airline industry, emphasizing accountability, education, and continuous improvement. Maya stood with the other signatories, holding the declaration high for the cameras. "This is just the beginning," she proclaimed. "Together, we will hold airlines accountable and ensure that every passenger is treated with the dignity and respect they deserve." As applause filled the room, Maya felt a profound sense of accomplishment. The movement she had ignited was gaining momentum, and with the collective strength of her allies, the path to a more equitable future seemed within reach. In the weeks following the national conference, Maya observed a surge of support for her movement. However, not everyone welcomed the change. Representatives from several major airlines began to voice their concerns, branding Maya's movement as disruptive and unfairly targeting their staff. Industry leaders held press conferences denouncing the movement, claiming it undermined their efforts to provide excellent customer service. Maya, undeterred, watched these developments with a mix of frustration and determination. She knew that overcoming such resistance would require resilience and strategic action. Gathering her core team, she convened a meeting to discuss how to address the counter-narratives being spread by the airlines. Maya met with Karen Mitchell, the airline supervisor who had previously apologized and committed to changes within the airline. Over coffee at a local cafe, Karen shared internal documents revealing that several airlines had similar issues with discrimination but had been hesitant to address them publicly. "We need to collaborate with other airlines that are genuinely committed to change," Karen suggested. "If we can get more companies on board, it will strengthen our position and counteract the negative publicity." Maya nodded, appreciating Karen's willingness to support her cause. "Absolutely. We need to showcase that this is an industry-wide issue and that real change is possible." As Maya's movement gained traction, she became the target of personal attacks both online and offline. Anonymous social media accounts spread rumors about her character, questioning her motives and suggesting she was exaggerating her experience for personal gain. Some detractors even called for her to retract her statements and apologize. Maya felt the sting of these attacks, but refused to let them derail her mission. During a virtual support group meeting, she addressed the negativity head-on. "These attacks are attempts to silence us and undermine our progress. We must stay focused and continue advocating for what is right." Her words resonated with the group, reinforcing their commitment to the cause despite the opposition. Attorney Samuel Lee informed Maya that one of the airlines had filed a defamation lawsuit against her, claiming that her allegations were false and damaging to their reputation. The news was a significant blow, but Samuel assured her that they had a strong case backed by substantial evidence and testimonials from other passengers. Maya met with Samuel to strategize their defense. "We need to use this lawsuit as an opportunity to highlight the systemic issues within the airline industry," she suggested. "By turning the tables, we can expose the truth and garner even more support." Samuel agreed, impressed by Maya's strategic thinking. "We'll prepare a robust defense and use the court as a platform to further our message." In the face of growing resistance, Maya sought solace and strength within her community. She organized neighborhood meetings, bringing together individuals from diverse backgrounds to discuss their experiences and ways to support each other. These gatherings fostered a sense of unity and collective resilience, reinforcing Maya's belief in the power of community action. One evening, at a community center adorned with banners advocating for justice and equality, Maya addressed the attendees. "Our strength lies in our unity. Together, we can overcome the challenges we face and create a more just and equitable society for everyone." Applause filled the room, and Maya felt a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that her movement was rooted in a broader fight for justice. Recognizing the importance of controlling the narrative, Maya partnered with Lena Torres, a seasoned media strategist known for her work with social justice movements. They devised a comprehensive media plan to counteract the negative publicity and highlight the positive changes their movement was advocating for. Maya and Lena arranged interviews with sympathetic journalists, crafted compelling press releases, and utilized social media campaigns to amplify their message. They also organized public service announcements emphasizing the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion within the airline industry. The strategic media efforts began to shift public perception, garnering more support and diminishing the impact of the airline's counter-movements. The day of the defamation trial arrived, and Maya felt a mix of anxiety and determination. The courtroom was packed with media representatives, supporters, and curious onlookers. As the proceedings began, Maya took a deep breath, ready to present her case. Samuel called upon several passengers who had experienced similar discrimination to testify, providing compelling evidence of systemic issues within the airline industry. Maya herself recounted her ordeal with clarity and emotion, underscoring the personal and professional toll it had taken on her. Throughout the trial, Maya maintained her composure, her testimony resonating with the jury and the audience. The evidence presented highlighted not just her case but a broader pattern of discriminatory practices that needed to be addressed. After days of deliberation, the jury returned with a verdict in favor of Maya. The judge ruled that the airline had defamed her by making false and damaging claims. The victory was not just personal. It was a significant win for the movement, signaling that their fight against systemic racism was gaining legal and societal recognition. During a press conference celebrating the win, Maya addressed the crowd with humility and resolve. This victory is a testament to the strength of our community and the importance of standing up against injustice. But our work is not done. We must continue to push for meaningful change to ensure that no one else faces the discrimination I endured. The room erupted in applause, and Maya felt a profound sense of accomplishment, knowing that this was just the beginning of a larger journey toward equality and respect for all passengers. With the defamation trial behind her, Maya felt a renewed sense of purpose. The legal victory had not only vindicated her but also brought significant attention to the systemic issues within the airline industry. In the weeks that followed, Maya collaborated closely with Karen Mitchell and other forward-thinking airline representatives to begin implementing the changes outlined during the national conference. Maya attended several meetings where new policies were being drafted. These included comprehensive anti-discrimination training for all flight crew, the establishment of an independent oversight committee to handle complaints, and the introduction of a transparent reporting system for passengers. Each meeting was a step toward dismantling the entrenched biases that had long plagued the industry. Recognizing that industry-wide changes required governmental support, Maya partnered with Representative Linda Harris, a passionate advocate for civil rights. Together, they worked on drafting a bill aimed at enforcing stricter anti-discrimination laws within the airline sector. At a bustling city hall, Maya and Linda presented their proposal to a room filled with legislators, stakeholders, and supporters. This bill is not just about airlines, Maya began, her voice steady and compelling. It's about ensuring that every individual, regardless of their race, receives equal treatment and respect in all aspects of their lives, including air travel. The proposal received unanimous support, marking a significant milestone in Maya's advocacy journey. The successful passage of the bill underscored the collective commitment to fostering an equitable environment for all passengers. To sustain the momentum of her movement, Maya focused on grassroots initiatives. She organized community workshops and seminars aimed at educating passengers about their rights and empowering them to speak out against discrimination. In a vibrant community center adorned with informational posters and resource tables, Maya addressed a diverse group of attendees. "Knowledge is power," she proclaimed. "By understanding your rights and standing together, we can ensure that no one else has to endure the injustice I faced." Participants engaged in lively discussions, sharing their own experiences and brainstorming strategies to further the cause. Maya's approachable demeanor and unwavering passion inspired many to take an active role in the fight against discrimination. Amidst the whirlwind of advocacy and activism, Maya took time to focus on her personal well-being. She attended therapy sessions to process the trauma of her experiences and engaged in mindfulness practices to maintain her mental and emotional health. One serene afternoon, Maya found herself in a peaceful park, the gentle rustling of leaves providing a soothing backdrop. She sat on a bench, reflecting on her journey, from the initial injustice on the flight to her role as a leader in the movement for change. "I've come so far," she mused, a sense of fulfillment washing over her. "But there's still so much to do." Her family joined her, offering words of encouragement and support. Their unwavering belief in her fueled Maya's resilience, reminding her that she was not alone in her fight. Encouraged by the successes thus far, Maya sought to broaden the scope of her movement beyond the airline industry. She connected with leaders from other sectors, hospitality, retail, and transportation, to address discrimination in various forms. At a large networking event, Maya met Jamal Thompson, a hospitality manager who had faced similar issues in the hotel industry. Their shared experiences forged an immediate bond, and together, they began to coordinate efforts to create a unified front against systemic racism across multiple industries. "Imagine the impact we can have if we stand together," Jamal remarked during one of their strategy sessions. "We can push for comprehensive reforms that benefit everyone." Maya nodded, her vision expanding. "Absolutely. Unity is our strength." As the movement gained national prominence, Maya was invited to speak at various conferences and panel discussions. During one such event at a prestigious university, she addressed a captivated audience of students and professionals. "Change doesn't happen overnight," Maya asserted. "It requires persistence, courage, and a collective effort. We've made significant strides, but our journey is far from over. Let's continue to advocate, educate, and support one another." Her heartfelt speech resonated deeply with the attendees, many of whom were inspired to join the cause and contribute their unique skills and perspectives. Despite the progress, Maya encountered new obstacles. Some entrenched individuals within the airline industry resisted the changes, feeling threatened by the shift towards greater equality and transparency. They employed tactics such as lobbying against the new laws and attempting to undermine the movement's credibility. During a high-stakes meeting with industry leaders, Maya addressed the resistance head-on. "These changes are not a threat to anyone's job or success. They are about ensuring fairness and respect for all passengers and employees alike. By embracing these reforms, you are not only doing the right thing but also enhancing your company's reputation and customer loyalty." Her assertive stance began to soften some of the opposition, paving the way for more open dialogue and gradual acceptance of the necessary changes. Years passed, and the once contentious movement had transformed into a cornerstone of industry standards. The airline industry, along with other sectors Maya had touched, had embraced the principles of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Maya's efforts had led to the establishment of ongoing training programs, equitable hiring practices, and robust mechanisms for addressing discrimination. At a celebratory gala honoring the movement's achievements, Maya stood on stage alongside Karen Mitchell and Jamal Thompson. "Today, we celebrate not just the changes we've implemented but the lives we've touched and the barriers we've broken," Maya declared, her voice filled with pride and hope. "Our journey has shown that when we come together, we can create a world where everyone is treated with the dignity and respect they deserve." The audience erupted in applause, the air filled with a shared sense of accomplishment and optimism for the future. The convention center buzzed with excitement as attendees from the national conference and beyond gathered for a celebratory event. Banners emblazoned with messages of unity and progress adorned the walls, reflecting the culmination of Maya's relentless efforts. Maya stood at the entrance, greeted warmly by supporters and allies who had joined her journey. As she mingled, Maya noticed familiar faces: Tom, Liam, Karen Mitchell, and Jamal Thompson, all integral to the movement's success. Their smiles and heartfelt congratulations reinforced the impact they had collectively made. Maya felt a profound sense of accomplishment, knowing that their shared vision had begun to reshape the landscape of the airline industry and beyond. In a quiet corner of the event, Evelyn Clark approached Maya hesitantly. Her uniform was immaculate, her posture composed, but her eyes held a mixture of remorse and newfound understanding. "Miss Johnson," Evelyn began, her voice soft, "I wanted to apologize for my actions during that flight. I was misguided and let my biases cloud my judgment. Seeing the changes you've inspired has made me realize the error of my ways. Maya regarded Evelyn with a compassionate gaze. Thank you, Evelyn. Acknowledging and learning from our mistakes is a crucial part of growth. I'm glad to see you're committed to making things right. Evelyn nodded, a genuine smile breaking through her initial reserve. I've started attending the new training programs your movement advocated for. It's been eye-opening. Their conversations symbolized the healing and transformation that had taken place, bridging the gap between victim and perpetrator through understanding and change. Representative Linda Harris called a press conference to announce the successful passage of the anti-discrimination bill within the airline industry. The room was filled with journalists, supporters, and key stakeholders. Today marks a significant victory for equality and justice in air travel, Linda declared, standing beside Maya. Thanks to the unwavering dedication of Maya Johnson and countless others, we are implementing stricter anti-discrimination laws that ensure every passenger is treated with the dignity and respect they deserve. Maya stepped forward, her voice steady and resolute. This legislation is not just about airlines. It's about setting a precedent for all industries to follow. Together, we can create a world where fairness and respect are non-negotiable standards. The applause that followed was a testament to the movement's success and the enduring impact of Maya's advocacy. Back at home, Maya sat in her serene living room, a space adorned with photographs of family, friends, and memorable moments from her advocacy journey. She took a moment to reflect, a sense of peace settling over her. Her sister entered the room, handing her a cup of tea. "You've done amazing things, Maya," she said, settling beside her. "I'm so proud of you." Maya smiled, feeling the weight of her struggles lift. It's been a long journey, but seeing the changes we've made makes it all worthwhile. They shared a quiet moment, the bonds of family and support providing a foundation for Maya's continued strength and resilience. Inspired by the success of her initial movement, Maya launched a new initiative aimed at promoting diversity and inclusion across various industries. The initiative, named Inclusive Horizons, sought to provide resources, training, and advocacy for marginalized individuals facing discrimination in their professional and personal lives. At the inaugural meeting of Inclusive Horizons, Maya addressed a diverse group of attendees. "Our work doesn't stop here," she proclaimed. "We've laid the groundwork for change within the airline industry, but there are countless other sectors where discrimination persists. Together, we can extend our reach and ensure that everyone has the opportunity to thrive in an equitable environment." The room erupted in applause, signaling a new chapter in Maya's mission to foster widespread societal change. Recognizing the importance of empowering the next generation of leaders, Maya established a mentorship program within Inclusive Horizons. She personally mentored young activists, sharing her experiences and guiding them in their advocacy efforts. In a warmly lit office, Maya sat across from Aisha Patel, a passionate young woman eager to make a difference. "What advice would you give someone just starting out?" Aisha asked. Maya leaned forward, her eyes filled with conviction. "Stay true to your values, listen to those around you, and remember that every small step contributes to the larger movement. Your voice matters, and together, we can create lasting change." Aisha nodded, inspired by Maya's words and eager to embark on her own journey of advocacy. Inclusive Horizons expanded its reach internationally, partnering with organizations worldwide to combat discrimination across borders. Maya traveled to various countries, sharing her story and collaborating with global leaders to implement effective anti-discrimination policies. In a grand auditorium in London, Maya addressed an international audience. "Discrimination knows no boundaries, and neither should our efforts to eradicate it. By working together across nations, we can build a world where everyone is afforded the respect and equality they deserve." The international response was overwhelmingly positive, cementing Maya's role as a global advocate for justice and equality. Years later, Maya stood on a picturesque balcony overlooking a bustling cityscape, the sunset casting a golden hue across the horizon. She reflected on the journey that had transformed her from a determined professional to a leader of a global movement. Her phone buzzed with a message from Karen Mitchell, We're implementing a new mentorship program inspired by your work. Thank you for everything." Maya smiled, her heart full. "It's all for the greater good," she whispered to herself, feeling a profound sense of fulfillment and hope for the future. As the sun dipped below the skyline, Maya knew that while her journey had been fraught with challenges, it had also been marked by incredible resilience, unity, and the unwavering belief that change is possible when people come together to fight for what is right.